Hey everyone, I'm Rebaz Majeed and this is the Amargi. Today I'm quite excited because we have a very esteemed guest, Emel Mathlouthi, an incredible artist whose voice became the symbol of freedom and resistance from Tunisia to stages around the world. Today we're going to be talking about her music, her journey, and how she uses her art to stand for those people who are fighting for justice. Emel, welcome to the Amargi.
Thank you.
Emel, I want to start asking the question of, you were originally trained in classical music, but now what we can see from your works, it's a blend of experimental works, North African music and electronics. It's some sort of like fusion. I'm wondering, like, if you could take us through the key phases of your musical evolution.
So actually, like I didn't train in anything. I just trained in singing with the heart, singing from the heart. I think my first passion was to sing Celine Dion songs. So I did have actually a very good training for the voice because she has a very, very good voice and a very good technique. And that was my first actually vocal training. And I don't think I've ever needed any other training. I think I developed very naturally a very good vocal technique. But then later on, I really wanted to kind of start breaking the chains. And that's when I started really a metal band. So we started playing metal songs and metal covers. And I think I very quickly decided that that image was more right for me than the image of the Arab singer diva, because I wanted to break the rules. I wanted to do different things from the very beginning. I wanted to write my own songs also. And then eventually, like, the metal and the rock music are already like very controversial, and they're for rebels. So that was my first step into doing something that had a different edge. And then I think I started really falling in love with all the protest music movements from the 60s and the 70s in the US and then in Latin America. And that's, I think, where my personality formed, basically trying to use my strength, which is the possibility to sing, to write songs, to perform, and use that to do something really useful for the world.
Amel, your song, especially like Kelmti Horra, came like the anthem of Arab Spring. And I remember those times. They were quite intense moments for the people in the region and for the world. But what I'm curious about is that, how did you feel personally as one of your songs carries such a big collective emotional weight during those times?
I think I was I was very happy. I was like, about time. I'm happy for this recognition because these songs deserve it and this message deserve it. And what I was really proud of is to feel that I was on the right side of history, and I was right to think and to believe from day one in the power of songs and in the power of music to unite people together around messages that we should have the power. We are powerful. We should be able to decide for our own future and for how we want our life to be, and not just be under rulers that don't care about us or our ideas or our beauty.
Speaking of that, that actually brings me to my next question, which is, this could be a controversial topic, of course, but do you think art or artists should take responsibility to be vocal against injustice, or is that a personal choice?
This is always like a difficult question because as I defend freedom, I cannot decide that one artist have, all artists have to, you know, do the same and all have the same trajectory. I think there's a space for everyone, but art is important, and especially in periods that like this one, I feel that as an artist, I feel completely incapable of looking the other way, basically. Like, we all want to live fully and enjoy our lives and laugh and have a good time. But in order for us to succeed in that, it has to be universal. To me, like, we cannot, none of us can be completely happy if another one is not happy. And we're not just talking about happiness here, we're talking about complete injustices and people going through genocide and famine and other people living in a complete luxury. So unfortunately, we still live in a world where there's really big differences, and unless we dissolve those differences and we have a completely just and fair world for everyone, we cannot look the other way. We cannot. I feel that I am on a mission. We have to be on a mission because there's so much things that we need to fix for all human beings to be equal. And I don't believe it's impossible, and I don't believe it's a utopia. So that's why I keep, anytime I sit down and I write a song, very, very unconsciously, it very quickly becomes, you know, like a message.
Yeah. Actually, like, I would say your music resonates really well with what you said, because it aligns with many causes different from your own, like the Kurds, the Palestinians, the Iranians, and many more. And like, what common thread do you see in these different movements?
I mean, I think that the strength that we have is that we all have a common goal. We all are looking for freedom. Like, all the people that you mentioned, we're all just like trying to have freedom. It's as basic as that, you know, to live with freedom and dignity. And I think if we are isolated, we can never reach what we want. I feel that our strength is to get together. Palestinian, the Black people movement in America, the indigenous people movement, whether in Palestine or in America, is the same. I am coming from a country that was under colonization. So I know what it is to grow up under the remains of colonization that eventually give birth to dictatorship. So we are, it's always like that same battle, and we cannot win the battle between the good and the evil if we don't unite together.
I mean, earlier this year, I remember I was in my apartment in Berlin and I was watching you live when you were on the stage in Amed, Diyarbakir, in Turkish Kurdistan, and like in front of hundreds of thousands, probably 1 million Kurds. And it was during Newroz celebration, which carries a really symbolic meaning. And you performed in Kurdish, and it was quite an emotional moment for many Kurds. And it really attracted a huge engagement on Kurdish social media, and people loved it. How did you feel when you were there? Like, what moved you to sing in Kurdish?
I think that Kurdish music is one of the most beautiful music that humanity has. Like, I truly believe it. I love the rhythms, the melodies, the voices, the way the music is written, the way I feel like it has something really deep and that resonates really deeply with me. So from the very, like, even before I had any knowledge about, you know, like Kurds or their culture, I really fell in love with the music. And then eventually I learned about the history. So it really resonated with me even deeper. So I don't know, I just felt that I wanted to sing, and I love the language. I love like the rhythm and how it's like balanced, you know, and the way the flow of the lyrics, this mix between the language and the percussions, and like, you know, the music is sad but also very powerful.
Like one of the Kurdish songs that you sang, and it was Ay Dilbere, and like people loved it on social media. Like people just were sharing it, like making comments, and people loved your voice. And many actually were quite, you know, astonished by how good you could pronounce the Kurdish words, you know. And yeah, you sounded like native while singing this.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said,
Wow.
yeah. And I was wondering if you could, for our audience, maybe, I don't know, sing a small part of Ay Dilbere, if you are to.
Sure. I hope I don't forget. Hay dilbere, vay dilbere, hay nasike, vay asmere, kaso supai manadre, bavernakim damvargere.
Really beautiful. Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. Speaking of Kurdish songs and getting to Newroz in Amed, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard it from somewhere that it was not an easy decision for you to go to Amed, and you faced some sort of pressure from different sides. If you are like open to talk about that and like, you know, mix it with the idea of censorship, like how much of censorship have you faced in your life because of your stances? How much of institutional pushback have you faced, which are quite like obstacles and barriers, but many people might not really know about these, but many artists go through these, and they're really big challenges. They are not really, you know, there are barriers in front of artists, and many people do not know about those, but I think those stories should be heard. If you are okay with sharing that story, how did you come like to how did you go to Amed, and what were the pressures that you were facing?
Well, of course, my path has come with a lot of censorship, and it's actually really good to put a word on it, because I was so against dictatorship that I never realized like how much censorship was a part of my journey. Like there were so many situations where I would want to sing somewhere, and then there would be like, it would turn immediately so political. And sometimes I think like at the end of the day, it's actually just music, you know. Why does it have to be so difficult, you know? And it's exactly what I was thinking when I got the invitation to sing at Newroz. Of course, I didn't realize, like, because the Kurdish Newroz has so much more meaning than probably other Newroz in other countries. And I just like don't understand why anyone would see hatred in that. Like it's not Newroz. It's not about hatred. It's not about hating, you know, the other. It's just about celebrating a whole like history and story and culture, and that history has a lot of pain. And I don't think like it works to try to paint over the the wall so you don't see where it's broken, because there is no place in the world that cannot be broken if it oppresses parts of it, you know. So I think the one important thing that I was thinking when I was at the hotel and trying to like manage all this pressure, I thought the one thing I don't want in my life is live under fear. So maybe some bad things will happen to me if I perform at the Newroz, or maybe not, but I don't want to live in fear. So I thought like, I want to sing for these people that like my music and have been supporting me from day one, because I started singing in Kurdish since the beginning of my career. And to me, it's about celebration and beauty and music. And I'm really happy that I went, because I think it was one of the most beautiful experiences in my life.
There's a peace process in Turkey now. Hope for the next Newroz, maybe you can go there without any pressure. And let's hope for that. Moving to the next question, what are you working on right now, and are there any new directions music-wise that you want to explore? If you have any new project that you want to share with us?
So after my last album, which still feels very fresh, because I don't feel that I explored it as much as I want. It's like the first 100% woman-made album. And again, I feel like for some people in the industry, this idea feels a little bit extreme. So I want to still push this album, but at the same, so I promised myself that I would never do any other album after this, because it was such a complex experience. But now I'm already starting to think of my next album, and I think I want to go back more to my Tunisian roots, and I want basically this album to be a tribute to the Tunisia of the 1900s to the 1950s, because there's such beautiful music movements at that time and a lot of like artistry, and I want to explore that and like find correlations between who I was, who I am, and where I'm trying to go.
Emel, moving to the last question, in this world where just lots of terrible things are happening, what keeps you hopeful? Beside your name, which is Amed, meaning hope in Arabic, what keeps you hopeful? Because you seem like a optimistic, hopeful person, and like believing in resistance, believing in a better future.
I think what keeps me hopeful is ultimately the beautiful relationship that we create with other people, whether it's artistic or musical or love or friendship or beautiful encounters. I think that's what really animates me the most, because I'm very passionate about the world's heritage in culture, in music, in art, and I want to explore as much of that as possible and interact with other people.
Emel, thank you so much for being here. It was a great pleasure having you.
Thank you.
This is the Amargi, and that was Emel Mathlouthi, an inspiring artist with so much power and heart in your voice. If you liked this one, if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to follow the Amargi for more conversations like this. See you soon.